Lena never believed in love at first sight, until she met Ethan. It was a rainy afternoon when she stepped into a quaint bookstore on Maple Street, shaking off droplets from her coat. As she reached for a book on the top shelf, another hand brushed against hers. She turned to see a pair of warm, hazel eyes gazing at her, an amused smile forming on the lips of the stranger. "Seems like we have similar taste in books," he said, his deep voice carrying a playful lilt. Lena chuckled. "Or maybe you're just following me around." That single moment ignited something special. They exchanged numbers, and soon their lives intertwined with long walks, late-night calls, and boundless laughter. Ethan, an aspiring photographer, captured fleeting moments with his camera, while Lena, a writer, found inspiration in the world around her. Their love flourished like a perfectly written story, until the pages began to blur. The growing distance months passed, and the initial spark between them started to flicker. Ethan's photography projects pulled him away for long hours, while Lena became lost in her deadlines. The once effortless conversations turned into strained silences, and doubts crept in like shadows. One evening, as they sat in a cafe, Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen before turning it face down, but not before Lena caught sight of an unfamiliar name. "Who was that?" she asked, trying to keep her voice light. Ethan hesitated. "Just a friend from work, nothing important," but the seed of doubt had been planted. Lena began noticing the little things. Ethan stepping away to take calls, his sudden late-night meetings. Meanwhile, Ethan sensed Lena drifting away, her once bright eyes clouded with hesitation. Their love, once unwavering, was now tangled in unspoken fears. Love on the brink one night. After yet another tense argument, Lena couldn't hold back her frustration any longer. "I feel like you're hiding something from me," she said, her voice shaking. "Why won't you just be honest?" Ethan let out a heavy sigh, rubbing the back of his neck. "Lena, I love you, but you don't trust me. How can we move forward if you keep doubting me?" "Because you give me reasons to doubt," she snapped, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. The silence that followed was deafening. The air between them felt thick with words left unsaid. That night, Lena packed a small bag and walked out, unsure if their story had reached its final chapter. The truth unveiled, weeks passed, filled with nothing but heartache and longing. Lena missed Ethan, but pride kept her from reaching out. Ethan, too, felt the unbearable emptiness of his apartment, replaying every moment they had shared. One day, while sifting through old papers, Lena stumbled upon an unopened letter from Ethan. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. "Lena, I never meant to make you doubt us. The calls, the messages, they were for a surprise project I was working on. I wanted to publish a photo book of our moments together, something to remind you how much you mean to me. In my secrecy, I made you feel unwanted, and for that, I'm deeply sorry. If you can forgive me, meet me at the bookstore where we first met." Tears streamed down her face. Had they really almost lost each other over a misunderstanding? Love rewritten, heart pounding, Lena rushed to the bookstore. As she stepped inside, she saw him standing there, holding the same book they had reached for months ago. Their eyes met, and for the first time in weeks, they both smiled. "I never stopped loving you," Ethan whispered, stepping closer. "And I never should have doubted us," Lena replied, her voice thick with emotion. As they embraced, they realized love wasn't about never making mistakes. It was about choosing each other, again and again, rewriting their story with every new chapter.